It's very young in the birthday grouping of countries.
Yeah, 245. Sorry,
245. Okay,
Yep.
I thought that was off the top of my head, but I couldn't be sure.
I thought 246 because the Marine Corps is 246 years old.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so that's very young. You look at a country such as Egypt. That's a very old country. It's
thousands
mentioned
of years.
Yeah, thousands of years. Biblically, it's Egypt is mentioned in the Bible, and that can go back 4,000 years. At least that's what I've looked up and thought and kind of looked into the history of that.
Yeah.
And they've had their ups and downs. Obviously they're not ancient Egypt by any means, but still, carries that same name that it has for 4,000 years.
Yeah.
And so I think Christianity definitely has something to do with us, being obscenely blessed. God honored that. And I think we're in danger as a country. Well, I don't think we're in danger. I think we have lost the blessing, but I think only for the sake of the Christians that live in this country, that we're still as free as we are.
Yeah.
So I want to help reverse the curse that's closing in.
Yeah. And that, yeah,
look at Nineveh. That city was set to be destroyed. And they repented. Even the king repented. And God turned his wrath away.
Oh, yeah.
So if the United States is the city of Nineveh, Jonah right now is in the city telling and warning we have yet to repent.
Yeah. And we need to.
Yes. So it wasn't long, after Jonah left that it could have gone both ways if they hadn't repented. So I think he's, like I said, metaphorically, I think he's in the city right now.
And sadly, I hope we don't end up like Nineveh, because later on, Nineveh does get laid to waste because they turn their back.
Yeah, turn back to their other ways, yeah.
So.
Yep.
So yeah, we had our first turning in the revolution when we could become our own, and that was our kind of repentance, our breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping this isn't our second turning, and where it becomes an ultimate failure.
Yeah. So I think what we're gonna break down is we'll be doing these once a week. I do work out of town for several weeks at a time, and then I have a couple of weeks off, or we will record on my off weeks once a week. We'll bring up topics, and then in the off weeks, you'll just be doing some social media stuff, and then I can, contribute to that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and feel free to share your thoughts on our social media with us, and we will try to reply.
Yeah, yeah. Comment, ask questions. I hate to be that one guy that's like, oh, hit the like button, comment,
yeah.
slap that like button,
subscribe. No, it's for us. I don't think it's a money thing. We're not looking for the YouTube money, or anything of that sort. I mean, if we get 100 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, I mean, I'm just happy that there's somebody out there looking for truth.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole purpose of this podcast. Our values are truth, exposing truth, understanding the truth of our country, of our faith,
exposing lies, and talking about them and getting to the root.
Yeah, and understanding our origins, biblical worldview, and then also boldness. We're about taking a stand, defining the gray areas,
mm-hmm.
or the so-called gray areas. I think there's a lot more black and white. that we are supposed to be living in, but people have kind of, like you said earlier, kind of fallen into this malaise, and where it's like everything's a gray area.
Yeah, they don't really care. They do this, they do that, and the whole you do your thing and I do mine works to an extent.
It works when you have a unified vision and a unified value system.
Yes, but when it starts to become, me and my family, and and then somebody else decides that it's okay to have drag queen story hour at the library or at the school, that's where there's a lot of lines you could draw, but that's an entirely different value system. You cannot leave that alone. That brings in so much corruption so fast that it can just tear down. It tears down the value system. It tears down the family. It tears down everything. And they like to tell you that it's not.
And I know I have an idea for a segment that I wanted to surprise you with this idea.
Okay.
On our first episode. So the idea is, each time that we record, I want to bring up 3 things, and these are clips, and talks that will make Rob angry.
Make me angry?
Yes.
You'll grind my gears?
Yes. It's the grind Rob's gears section of the show.
Okay.
So if you're up for it, I have 3 clips that will potentially grind your gears.
Okay, let's hear them.
All right. So this first one is from the Pat Gray Show. So also, that's also another show to look into. I'm not trying to send away any of our subscribers, but if there's anyone that also wants another good show.
Well, I listen to other podcasts too. It's not like, I'm a big fan of the Charlie Kirk Show, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh. All those guys are good.
Yeah, and so Pat Gray is on Blaze TV, Blaze Media.
Mm-hmm. Mark Rubin, or Dave Rubin, I'm sorry. Mark.
Dave Rubin's on there. Yep. And there's Pat Gray, Steven Crowder, Glenn Beck.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this was from Pat Gray Show, and they were discussing some of the COVID antics, some things as far as the COVID shot. And it's a story of a young boy and his father, and the father's wife makes a decision to take the boy and get him vaccinated.
All right, don't spoil it.
So here it is.
Just watch the pharmaceutical ads on TV. There are so many side effects from all of this medication. It's not like this is unusual, because it isn't. This kind of stuff happens all the time.
And why would you trust this government for anything? I mean, especially
You
if
can't.
they're compelling you to get it, if you want to get your life back to normal. Can we play this last one here? Because we definitely
How long
can't
is
play
it?
that. It's about a minute long.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So what
Let's
happens
play it.
is a mom has taken her 7-year-old son to the pharmacy to get the vaccine.
Okay.
The dad now, this is the audio of the dad calling the pharmacy a while later as his son has had a reaction. And here's what he said to the pharmacy.
Christian Pharmacy, you're speaking.
Yeah, hi. Are you a pharmacist?
Yes, how can I help?
Yeah, hey, I've got a question. My wife, against my wishes, brought my 7-year-old son in there a few days ago for a COVID jab, and he's now in the hospital with myocarditis. And I was obviously not very happy with you guys or with my wife. She told me that she was not told that was a potential side effect. So why wouldn't you have told her that?
Okay, sorry, so it's quite a rare, side effect as well.
No, it's not that. No, it's not, because I've been doing research. It's common. In the U.S., there's tens of thousands of them reported at the CDC site. So why are you not telling parents this?
We might scare the parents and they don't want to get their child vaccinated.
Yeah, so
Oh.
you don't want to scare the parents with something that is actually happening that's happened to my kid. Are you out of your
Okay.
mind? Are you out of your mind? You don't want to scare them. You need to give them the right information so they can make a proper decision. What is wrong with you? You don't want to scare them. I'm recording this conversation as well, and this is going to a lawyer next. Thank you for admitting that. So why don't you tell them? When someone comes in there and says, hey, what can go wrong? What do you say? Sore arm? Have you seen the amount of dead people? Have you seen it?
Has your wife asked before giving consent to give?
She asked what the side effects are.
Did she ask? I'm not sure because I wasn't there.
It doesn't matter. You're supposed to tell people this can happen. Now my kid.
Whether
so
they
you know
ask
what
or not.
prognosis is? You know what it is? Possible death within 5 years. 20% of people with myocarditis die. It is a permanent damaged heart.
Jeez.
It is not temporary. He's
Okay, I'm
facing
so
a heart
sorry about that.
transplant because
I'm
of
sorry
you.
about that.
Because you didn't.
Jeez.
Yeah, and this goes on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard him there underneath the pharmacist. He's facing a heart transplant. He's 7 years old. Thank you.
Mother screwed up there. There's no reason to get a 7-year-old vaccinated for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
horrible.
rarely get it.
So
When
let
they
me
get
just-
it, it's mild. And in fact, especially now.
Let me read the definition of myocarditis. Myocarditis is usually caused by a viral infection. A severe case can weaken the heart, which can lead to heart failure, abnormal heartbeat, and sudden death. What it is an inflammation of the middle layer of the heart wall.
Yep.
Neat.
Yep. So 7 years old has what sounds like a more severe case of myocarditis and is facing having to get a heart transplant because the pharmacist didn't want to scare parents away from getting the COVID vaccine,
Yeah,
having
great.
their kids get the COVID vaccine. So on a scale of 1 to 10,
That grinds my gears. A 10. That's a 10
yeah,
because there's a child involved.
yep.
You got another one for me?
Yes. One is the, I don't know if you know, but the ATF and other forms of federal law enforcement, you know, those bureaucracies that we talked about earlier in the show,
Yep.
are making their rounds. And this is a gentleman, I forget if it was I believe it was in Delaware. The ATF went to his front door and asked him to verify his weapons, bring out his weapons, show him their serial numbers, and verify his weapons with them.
Okay, that's all I'm doing is verify that you have it. You got 2 different purchases. If you have them, I'm out of here. That's how quick it is. Yeah. You have them with you by any chance? Are they? If you can unload them and bring them out, or you can go out to your foyer here, check them out by serial number, and we're out of here. That's it? Yep. That's it. It'll take 5 seconds.
The reason we're out here is we're obviously gun violence has been an uptick, so we want to make sure we've been having a lot of issues with straw purchases. So one of the things indicators that we get is somebody makes like a large gun purchase, and then a lot of times we've been there like, oh, those guns got taken. We're like,
So the idea is when you purchase more than 2 guns at a time, it generates a multiple sale report. And it comes to us, and we have to check them out. That's all that is. He did nothing wrong. Did absolutely zero.
So they need to go verify that he purchased weapons and compare the serial numbers on the sales. Why?
Yeah. Now, when you purchase
More than one weapon at a time in one sales transaction.
I guess in that
Which, by the
location-
way, I saw that happen, not an ATF thing, but I was down in Cabela's, and I was purchasing a weapon, and I saw somebody purchasing 3 weapons at once.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to get visited by the ATF?
Who knows? Possibly.
That makes me wonder, though, because they're alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives. And I wonder if... So let's just say, hypothetically, that I go down and I buy a pallet of cigarettes. Are they going to come knocking on my door looking for the